All right, good morning. We will call this meeting of the Tippecanoe County Commissioners meeting to order. If you'll please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, approval of the minutes from the March 18th meeting.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Accounts payable.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the claims from March 21st to April 1st, 2024 be approved without exception.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. And payroll.
Mr. President, I would also like to recommend the payroll dated March 28th, 2024 be approved without exception.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Area Plan Commission.
Mr. President, I move that we hear ordinance 2024-05-CM, Uzo Amendment Number 13.
Second.
Okay. We have a traffic count agreement.
Oh, sorry.
but We'll hear that first.
Okay.
We doing Carroll County first, or?
Let's do the amendment that's on the ordinance that's on
Okay.
the floor.
All right. This is the USO amendment?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Yes, both the USO amendment and the UZO amendment that you're hearing today are a pair. The UZO amendment tells you what a townhouse is, and the USO amendment tells you how to build it. And so the subdivision ordinance portion is the mechanics of actually processing a major subdivision or a minor subdivision for single-family attached homes on fee simple lots. And then the UZO amendment is the particulars of the zone itself, R1T, residential single-family townhouse. So this has been a very long process over the last couple of years, but we believe that this ordinance is kind of filling a gap in our ordinance to increase affordability, access to home ownership, and we think this is an important step in addressing those issues. So be happy to answer any questions.
And I'll just reiterate, I mean, it seems like this is one of those, it seems like we've been working on this for a year, maybe even longer, I don't know. But
Nearly two.
Yeah, nearly two. It is, but it's the way it's supposed to work, meaning we had great input from from the Builders Association, and I know that the staff put in a ton of time on this, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Is there any comment in regard to this ordinance? Hearing none. Jennifer?
Byers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Murtaugh?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-05 CM passes 3-0.
Now you want to do the traffic count then?
Okay. So Ryan, then if we can go back now to the traffic count. Oh, Tim, okay. Tim?
So this is something that we do every year. So Carroll County to our northeast is not large enough to have their own transportation planning entity. So because of that, the State Department of Transportation provides a grant where we can do some assistance for them, and then we get reimbursed for that work. So one of the major components of that is taking 65 traffic counts at various locations around Carroll County, and we have secured a contractor that will do that for us. And in order to do that, we will need to pay the contractor, and then we will get reimbursed through the billing process by NDOT and partially by Carroll County. So in order to get this started, we need to have that contract approved here. So I would take any questions at this time.
Tim, the only question I have is, do you happen to have a copy that's signed by Mr. Dunlap?
No, we do not have that currently. We would have him sign it after you guys sign it.
Okay.
That's our typical process.
Okay. So, yeah, and how soon can you have that?
Within the next couple weeks.
Is that a problem for you?
No, it'll be
Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Mr. President, I move that we approve this contract for conducting traffic counts from Carroll County as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Tim. All right, we have another ordinance.
Mr. President, I move we hear ordinance 2024-06-CM, UZO Amendment 108. It sounds like Brian already told us about this one, but
It's the companion ordinance, yeah.
Companion, again, any questions on it, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from commissioners?
No, sir.
Is there any comment in regard to this ordinance? Jennifer?
I'm sorry, what number did you say this was?
06,
06? Okay. Brown?
Yes.
Murtaugh?
yes.
Byers?
yes.
Ordinance 2024-06-CM passes 3-0.
Okay, and the next ordinance?
Mr. President, I move that we hear APC rezone Z2924 Huron Bay Development R1 to R1B, ordinance 2024-07-CM.
Second.
All right, this ordinance is basically a fix to make some adjustments. We have, the Stonehenge area has been under development for many, many years, and we're kind of in the last stages of it. And so this little fix to R1B is going to allow a better fit for these lots that are in question. So fairly simple zoning fix here, but be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is the petitioner present? Oh.
My name's Jim White of Vestern Associates. We represent Heron Bay in this issue. We had 3 lots that were not platted wide enough during the preliminary platting. We're butted up against PD zoning. So the best fix that we could come up with was go from R1 to R1B for 3 lots.
Okay. Questions? No. Are there any comments in regard to this request? Jennifer?
Murtaugh?
Yes.
Byers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-07-CM passes 3-0.
Okay. Next, we have resolution of the Wabash Tippecanoe Township Land Use Plan.
Okay. So this process hasn't been going on nearly as long as the townhouse, but it's just as important. This is a policy statement. Comprehensive plan amendments are. They're not law. They're meant to influence, but at the end of the day, the commissioners are free to make decisions on zoning as they choose. We've responding to a resolution this body passed in July of 22 to study the unincorporated townships of Wabash and Tippecanoe, essentially the growth area of kind of West Lafayette and Battleground population centers, and come up with a reasonable land use plan with resident stakeholders, property owners, a whole host of folks. And the process took the better part of a full year with a steering committee assembled by elected officials, both here at the commissioner level and at the trustee level. And the result is the plan that you have before you. It's a fairly modest, in my opinion, conservative plan that kind of just builds on the incremental growth that's been occurring and supporting development and rezone actions in areas where we already have public facilities available or easily extended. And we also have a chapter in this plan concerning roads, future transportation network, And it is purely conceptual. It is based on transportation planning work that's been done for many decades. And so we're sort of representing it here with just a few additions. And we feel that these facilities will help support the growth in the areas that have been targeted for growth. But ultimately, this amendment is amending the original 1981 plan for this portion of the community. And we feel that the time is certainly right. We had a very robust public presentation on multiple occasions and taken a lot of comment on this. So an awful lot of work's gone into this, and so we're pleased to present it to you. Be happy to answer any questions.
Ryan, I'm going to bring up a couple of questions, and I know there's a lot of citizens who were at the last area plan meeting that you had, but none of them really stood up to talk, which I thought they were going to or whatever. And I think it's a great plan that you put together. I think the questions they had, if you go to the traffic, page 76 and page 77, where the roads have been put in.
Yes.
You know, and they're thinking that's happening tomorrow. That's
Right.
why I keep trying to tell them, I'm like, the extension of 231 is not even a bleep out there. Could we say that?
Correct.
So,
It is a pure concept only.
right, and if that road expands,
That
then
does
then
date back
all
to the late
other roads-
1970s, honestly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
please.
I just wanted to make sure that they watched or hear this or whatever, that it's just a thought. I
Yeah.
mean, this is the second drawing I've seen of 231, and it's changed, and I think it's done a better job where it got moved to versus the old drawing and such, but I just want to say, that's where they got scared, because I know there was farmers
Right.
there, and I'm like, this is cutting right through my field, this is doing this, and so
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to make sure that it's.
Right. That's why at the beginning of that chapter, we have a big disclaimer that we
Right.
purposely elevated the font, put a big red box around it, saying that this is conceptual only. These are
Right.
not decided routes.
So,
They're meant to sort of generate discussion, get people thinking, but it's still going to have to go through a very public, political process,
Right.
both locally and at the state level. And so if there's support for it amongst the elected body here, then that's where it could, that's where the fire can get started with NDOT. So it all has to start locally. And so the first step is to sort of present our elected officials, hey, here's some ideas, here's some concepts,
right.
so
So,
you've got to
but-
start somewhere, and this is a
Right.
start.
I do want to thank you. I think it's a very good plan. Been to several of the meetings, and we listened to the citizens as we were doing this, and I think it's a very good plan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to reiterate what Ryan has said. Basically,
Can you state your name for the
oh,
record?
yes,
Yep.
sorry, apologies. Angel Valentin, the Wabash Township trustee. I just wanted to reiterate, I've been grateful to be able to be part of this process with APC staff and residents of the community. I think that this plan is, as he mentioned, a conservative plan that helps us start to plan out the future for our community. I know that if you look at the 1981 plan and what is currently on the books, we're far outgrown that area right now. Obviously, our community has continued to grow. There's been intense economic development, which has been really good for our community, but we're just trying to make sure that we have a plan for the future. From our township's perspective, that's also very important because it helps us in our planning efforts, both for our staffing and future development if we needed to, and to plan for what the future growth is going to look like, where there's going to be potential increase of population, all of those pieces that go into us being able to develop and plan for our fire protection and public safety components as well. So we're very grateful for that, and I think that it's a strong plan that gets us a little bit of a vision for the coming years as we continue to see new developments and new investments in our community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else? All right. I'll
Mr.
entertain a
President, I
motion.
move we approve Resolution 2024-08-CM, the Wabash Tippecanoe Township's Land Use Plan.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. All right. Thank you. All right, Highway. Good morning.
Just have a couple of action items this morning. The first being an on-call agreement with DLZ Consulting Architectural and Engineering Services Agreement for 2024.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Second item for approval is actually an addendum to a previously approved road restriction permit that was issued for the Purdue Cycling Road Race Course. Turned out that State Road 26 was not available, so the route has been adjusted to restrict it to Division Road, Kerber, 125 North, and 725 West.
Mr. President, I move for approval as outlined.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion passes.
I just have a little bit of informational. Spring is starting. All the projects are getting going. Two projects of note that we would just bring up. They're going to be a little affect more traffic than some of the others. Is our 450 South, 500 East project at US 52, developing that corridor. That project was opened under binder without surface. It will be closing soon to put the service on, and the bigger restriction will be the reconstruction of 450 South and 450 East. That's going to limit access to US 52 in that small segment of the county. Concord, of course, becomes the roundabout on that. That work is scheduled to begin somewhere around the middle part of the month. There will be postings out at minimum of a week in advance saying closed, coming, that the closure is coming, and it should last no more than 30 days. The second large project is, of course, the Morehouse roundabout at 350 North. Utilities have been moving along well. They're getting close to moving, to being complete, and that is probably going to begin at the beginning of May, full closure for construction. And again, notices will go out at least a week in advance. But those are the two big things that the public should probably be looking for. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, community corrections.
Good morning. We have a pharmacy agreement for Parkside Pharmacy. We had previously passed one for Genoa Pharmacy, but they're not open on the weekends, so we're expanding.
Yeah, so it was been a problem with Genoa not being open on the weekend, so we met with Parkside and have been using them, but they would like an MOU. It's very convenient because when we see people on Saturday, they're not going till Monday afternoon without their meds. So that's the whole reason behind it, is it helps us not delay care.
And I think they're the provider at the Villa as well.
Parkside?
Yes.
And does this mean they'll be taking over all of the previous Genoa accounts, or they'll just work in concert with one another?
Together. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Mr. President, I'd move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the pharmacy agreement with Parkside Pharmacy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank
That
you.
motion passes. Thank you. All right, Health Department. The collaborative practice agreement has been continued.
Tabled, yeah.
We will move to the professional services agreement with Diana Dively.
So we previously had one for another employee that is no longer going to work at Gateway to Hope. And so we're terminating that contract and would like to make one for Diana.
And do you happen to have a contract with her signature?
I can ask Dr. Loomis for that.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this services agreement as presented.
Second?
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Those
Thank
opposed?
you.
That passes. Thank you. All right. Agreement for real estate appraisal services.
So that is it's an agreement with the appraisal shop to do real estate appraisal in the northeastern part of Tippecanoe County, and this is in reference to the ongoing project for wastewater in the Buck Creek and Colburn area. As part of acquiring property in the future, we have to have, Doug, I believe you said, 2 appraisals by statute and then a resolution by county council to make that purchase. We were in a little bit of a time constraint to be able to get this done quickly, so it was signed prior to the meeting, and I'm just bringing it to the board for ratification. And with that, would move for approval.
So there's 2 in the file. Is that?
Yeah, they're just 2 copies.
2 copies, okay. So we'll be having a second one brought forth?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Financial consulting services with Financial Solutions Group.
This is a contract with Financial Services Group. This is to help us with making sure all our bond rating and paperwork and that stuff's put together correctly. This is also if we do proceed with the juvenile detention facility, they'll handle that part of the contract and make sure it helps with our ratings and scorings and such. So in saying now, move that we approve this contract.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And the total fee for professional services is estimated to be $35,000. Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Grants.
Good morning.
Morning.
The first one on the agenda would be for probation and community correction to apply for the 2025 DUC funding to cover the upcoming fiscal year.
Move to grant permission to apply.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
And to accept grants, the community correction was awarded $341,182.49 for a program with ICJI for the new Leaf Wellness Center Medicated Assisted Treatment Program.
Move for approval as outlined.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
And just for the record, I'd like to make an adjustment to 2 grants that you approved back in January for the youth services. The 2024 Juvenile Community Alternative Grant was originally amounted $75,000, but it was increased to $80,000. And the 2024 Title II Juvenile Justice Delinquents Prevention Act was originally $90,000 with a $10,000 match, and it's been changed to $100,000 with an $111 in in-kind match. Just an FYI. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, unfinished and new business. I just want to make an announcement that this coming Saturday is e-waste collection day at the fairgrounds. So if you have any electronics that does not have refrigerant, you can bring those to the fairgrounds and they'll be disposed of for free. And in addition, there's med take back and paper shredding as well. And this year, PevQ has agreed to be a corporate sponsor, so they'll be providing a number of volunteers, and hopefully we'll have a great turnout and great weather as well. And last but not least, we want to say goodbye to our good friend, Mike Spencer. 49 years of public service in this community.
thank you very much. And no, I'm not going to give you an April Fool's joke today. I really am going to leave. And just so you know, I will miss you.
Thank you, Mike, for your years of service. All right, reports on file. We have a report from Central Mail, accounts payable and duplications. Is there any public comment?
Boiler up, hammer down.
Yeah.
Meeting, move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Don't get to cry very often.